Hey Harmonizers, it's time to take Alfie to his first show to compete. He's at the Uxbridge Fair, which is super exciting. It's going to be super busy. So the first thing that I did is after I was done with Pretzel and the other Mustangs in the morning, I swapped out and I spent some time with him just being able to eat grass and take in the sights and sounds of everything that's going on. You can see there's rides in the background there, so I want him to be able to associate coming to a place like this and just getting to have some grass, nothing stressful at all, just hanging out a little bit. You can see there was lots of traffic, so people were coming by, there were strollers, and then the rides started going in the background as well. You can see they're spinning, making all sorts of noise. So I had his butt to them or facing them, doing lots of eating grass. And then it was time to get riding. So what was interesting is that they had this time at lunch that you could go in and everybody could ride together. And he was a little bit worried about the rides and everything in the corner, but it didn't help that some of the other horses were incredibly spooky in the corner. So you can see even that horse to my left there, the chestnut horse, is spooking at it, not wanting to go close and having a little bit of trouble. And then some of the horses that were there were totally fine, but the rides were quite close. So like, look at those horses that are upset heading into that corner. Even that white horse had to, not technically white, gray horse had to turn away from it as well. So here's just a great example of how I like to ride my horses. Here, when he kind of came up to the end of the arena, I gave him a cookie for making an effort. And you can see I start to do some little trots where he feels most comfortable. So I really try to feel my horses out. Where are you comfortable? Where are you not comfortable? What are you upset about? And we go trotting where he feels comfortable, and then where he feels a little bit anxious, like there you can see he kind of looks out to the side of the arena. I just steer him a little to the inside and I say, hey, I understand that worries you a little bit. Let's just stay a little to the inside. And so I just bring him forward, not forcing him into a corner where he's upset. I don't want to start a fight. I'm trying to say like, hey, I hear you. Let's go here. Let's go where we're ready. And then I found a group of quiet horses. So this group that I'm walking with here, I'm like, okay, these horses are not spooking in the corner. Let me go ride at the walk with these horses. And now you actually start to talk to the person and just kind of let her know that my horse is green and make sure she's okay with me going close to her. And I just essentially kind of follow those super quiet ones going around. You can see it's got a little kid on their back. And then he started to get a little closer into the corners, a little closer to the fence rail. He was totally fine on the fence rail on the side where the trailers are parked. And then the other side, he started to get a little bit more relaxed and a little bit more easy-going. You can see here he's trotting along. And he handled everything really well. If you think about the fact that this is his first show that I'm riding him at. I had taken him to a hunter jumper show just to be in hand to walk around, which I did a video of quite a while ago now. And then this was his first show to actually ride at, which happens to be a fair. You can see all those other horses stopped in the corner looking at the corner of rides because it was pretty scary and pretty intense. And then there's people on bleachers. There's a whole bunch of things going on. And so the worst he does is kind of like, oh, I don't know if I can go over there just yet. And I'm like, yep, that's fine. We'll just kind of go at this threshold mark. And then when he gets a little closer, I'll stop, offer that cookie. Here's the corner. You can see the rides in the background. And not all of my classes were able to, actually most of my classes weren't able to get filmed. I just didn't have somebody to film. And so this is the musical stalls class that I had taken him in. And you can see I'm on the ground and I'll be walking him away in a second. So what happened is we started musical stalls. I thought, oh, I'll ride carefully and I'll ride off to the side. But what ended up happening is somebody was passing me, but their horse got so excited that they kind of went a little bit crazy and literally bumped into Alfie, like literally collided with him. So I quickly jumped off of Alfie because I didn't want to be in a situation where he had to handle that. Not yet. Like this is his first ever show. So I jumped off and then I calmly walked him over here and sat back on him so he could watch. They were asking me to leave the ring, but I was like, this is really beneficial for him to just stay in the arena, not leave on a note like that. Especially I'm not in the way when I'm over in the corner like that. And you can see a little bit as some of the horses are going in, like look how fast they're going and kind of all over the place. And it was it was a little intense when he got collided into. So after he stood and watched for a little bit and I walked, I was able to take him out nice and quietly and end on a really good note there. The fact that he trusted me, he didn't get upset at anything, I was really, really happy about. And then I decided to do one more class just to end on a really good note. So I entered him in the scud to hoe. So technically this is supposed to be a race, but when I brought him in, I wanted to just be really relaxed and end really happy. He's in the arena by himself. You can see the rides in the corner there, so you get a really good perspective of that corner of the ring where everybody was upset. And because they have these poles placed pretty close to the rail, he actually had to go a lot closer to the rail than he was potentially comfortable with at the start of everything. So we're going through all this, and normally people would be running as fast as they can, but I am trying to just get my horse relaxed. And luckily the announcer did say, this is Lindsay Partridge, and this is a Mustang that was just out of the wild in May. This horse show, I know I'm doing the video a little bit late for you guys on YouTube, but this horse show was the weekend after Labor Day weekend in September. So it's just the second weekend in September. And here you can see when he goes to do the jump, because we're walking it, I thought he would just step over it and walk it, but he did a little jump. So I just praise him, tell him he's great. And then I continue on. I didn't want to go trotting and be in a place where if it wasn't relaxed that we couldn't finish. And so here you can see just a little bit of anxiety he had, the little hesitation of, I don't know that I want to continue away from home. So I didn't want to push him into a trot, and if it wasn't relaxed, have to finish and literally be done for the day. And because of how this show operates, there isn't really a warm-up ring. If you want to ride out of the ring, you're just kind of riding on the grass around the trailers. And I thought that's not like a safe thing to expect Alfie to do. So I thought I'll just walk, make sure it's really nice. And then here I really wanted him to be able to do the jump nicely. So I thought I'll just get off and we'll just run in hand and do it together in hand. So it just gives another example of how if I feel tension in my horse, I try to really help them feel more relaxed. I want them to have a good experience. So there he got to have a nice little jump at the trot, stop together, and then a little trot to the finish in hand, because I knew that that would be easier and successful for him. So always thinking about what's best for my horse. It's not about the ribbon. But in one of our classes, in our egg and spoon, he ended up placing and getting second place. So here's his little ribbon for that. So hope you guys enjoyed watching.
Remember to subscribe and check out harmonyhorsemanship.com for even more learning.